you a tour of the neighborhood where we've been staying, as always, Sabaneta. Very lush central square. Very walkable, very dense. I think I would highly recommend it. Welcome back, everyone. Medellín, Colombia. Today we are making our last video from here in Medellín, and we're going to give you a tour of the neighborhood where we've been staying, as always. So come along. Thanks for clicking on the video. If you want to help out the channel and help it grow, I really would appreciate it. Click on the like button down there, the subscribe button, and the little bell next to it to be notified for when new videos drop. It really helps the channel grow because it's going to help the YouTube algorithm recognize this content and spread it to other YouTube viewers. If you'd like to support the channel monetarily, I would appreciate that as well. You can leave a super thanks by clicking this thanks button here and give a small donation to the channel. I appreciate your support. So back to the video. Enjoy. So like we always do, a tour of the neighborhood where we've been staying. And actually here, this time, we haven't actually been staying in Medellín itself, in the city proper. We are staying in Sabaneta. And right now, we are about a block or so away from the actual apartment where we've been staying. And Sabaneta is its own city, or like township. It's south of, just south of Medellín. And actually, you can get to Sabaneta very easily from Medellín, to and from, because there is a metro station. There's a metro station right here in Sabaneta. So it's just as easy as like getting from one neighborhood in the city of Medellín to another neighborhood, getting to Sabaneta. And Sabaneta, because it is like, you know, it's pretty close to Medellín. It's like right next to it. It still feels pretty urban. There's a lot of like, you know, high density of population, but it also, I don't know how to explain it. It feels a little more chill, honestly, than some of the places that I've been in Medellín, like the neighborhoods in Medellín. It has a little more of a relaxed feel, and one of the other things, and this is something that was like very similar to where we stayed in Wilde, in Argentina, in Buenos Aires. That was like the very first place that we stayed on our trip. The very first time that we visited Buenos Aires. We stayed in Wilde, which was a similar situation. It was its own town or city out in the suburbs, like separate from Buenos Aires itself, the city of Buenos Aires. And it had its own distinct character. It had its own feel. It was very different experience than staying like in a neighborhood in Buenos Aires, which we also did. But I think what I like most about Sabaneta when I was staying here is this is not like a touristy neighborhood at all. When we were in Bogota, we stayed in Quinta Camacho, which was a very lovely neighborhood, and I enjoyed staying there, but it was also a very touristy neighborhood. When we were staying in Quinta Camacho, I probably heard English spoken just as often on the streets as I heard Spanish being spoken on the streets, because, you know, like I said, it's a very touristy neighborhood. And that experience is not really always the experience that I really want to go for, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of enjoy staying in a place where like I'm the only tourist, pretty much, or I feel like I'm the only tourist. And that's what it felt like here in Sabaneta, honestly. When I was staying here in Sabaneta, I felt very much like there were no other tourists around. And I don't know, it definitely has the feel of staying in a neighborhood where, like, this is just what, like, people are just going about their daily life, walking around on the streets, doing their thing, and you're just sort of visiting, you're just sort of there, and it's definitely not a place that's like catered towards tourism. But it is a beautiful, beautiful place here as we approach the central square. Here on the very lush central square of Sabaneta. Very beautiful. There's this old church. And I've actually never gone inside this church. I think I want to go in right now. Just take a look real quick. One, because I want to see it before we leave, but also because it just started to rain. Really very beautiful, the church inside. Like I said, I've been to the square before a bunch of times, but never actually gone inside the church. It was very nice. Very nice to see that here on our last day here in Sabaneta. But as you can see, the square is beautiful. I mean, it's just very, very lush. Lots of trees, growing plants. And the thing also that I liked about Sabaneta, of course, and I don't know if you could see this from the walk that we did, there are a lot of shops, there are a lot of restaurants, there are a lot of there's just a lot of businesses that are very, very closely packed, which makes the whole area very, very walkable. Right here next to the square, there is a D1, which is a discount grocery store, a good place to buy dry goods and things like that. And there's another one that was actually even closer to the apartment where we were staying, as well as a very a large grocery store, a full-size grocery store as well, called Éxito. So if you really need to go shopping around here, very, very easy to do. And here on the central square, there's also this mall situation over here, which I visited a couple times, really only just to go to some of the restaurants that were in there. But very, very nice, very walkable, very dense, dense commercial and residential combined, all in the same area. So I definitely liked that about Sabaneta. Highly walkable. You definitely don't need a car or anything. And because there is the metro stop, because that metro stop is so close, getting to the city is very easy. The metro stop is within walking distance, or was within walking distance of the apartment where we were staying. And actually, because Sabaneta, especially the area of Sabaneta where you're probably going to be getting if you're staying here, an apartment to stay, is not really that big. Wherever you get that apartment, you'll probably be within walking distance of this central square and also of the metro stop as well. So you won't have to really worry about getting into the city. For us, it was about a 10-minute walk to get to from the apartment to the metro stop, which is really nice. And the metro trains run very, very often, every 5 minutes or so. So getting there to the city, to Medellín, to see all the things that you want to see in Medellín, very, very easy, very convenient from here in Sabaneta. So it's not like you're staying, super, super far outside the city. Sabaneta, even though it has its own, its own very distinct feel, very distinct character, I think, separate from other neighborhoods in the city. it still feels like it's kind of part of the city because it is so close. It's really just like, I don't know, a couple of metro stops over and you're in the actual city proper. So it definitely doesn't, you don't feel disconnected out here. When I was staying in Wilde, like I mentioned, in Buenos Aires, that was a little further away. I mean, it was definitely part of the conurbano, the suburbs, but you couldn't hop on the subte. You had to take a commuter train. So you would take like a train into Plaza Constitucion train station, and then from there you could pick up the subte, or the metro. But here you're like literally right on the metro. And you just go to the metro station, hop on, go one stop or two stops, and you're in the city proper. From here to some of the more touristy places that we visited, like Parque Berrillo, or the Universidad Metro stop, where the Botanic Gardens and the aquarium, where those were. That's like, I don't know, more like 10 or 11 stops. But the metro moves really fast. So to get there, it really only took like, I don't know, 25 minutes or so. Not long. Once you get on the train, it moves pretty quick. So yeah, super convenient, super good place to be staying. So we're here at the corner, and this is Avenida Las Vegas, which is like one of the big major avenues that runs through. And if you keep going this way, that way, like 2 blocks, that's where the metro stop is. It's like 2 blocks down, and you're right there at the metro. So very convenient. If you head back down this way, down Avenida Las Vegas, which is what we're gonna do, you'll end up back on like the main commercial street that runs like east-west through, or east-west, yeah, I think like east-west through the neighborhood where we were staying. So we could walk back down here a couple blocks and then like cut back over, and we'll be right by the apartment. And you can see that we ended up making like just a big loop through the neighborhood. Right here there was this big like market. This place was really good too. I went here one time to get just to like poke around, see what they had. They had a very good selection. They had a very good produce selection in here. Fruvera La Granja. Like a fruit market. Not just fruit though, they had other stuff in there. That place was pretty good. So like I said, I mean, within 3 or 4 blocks radius, there's at least, I think 4 or 5 stores where you can go do your grocery shopping. So that's really nice. You get, not just are you close to a grocery store, but you're close to several, so you can sort of choose which one you want to go to, depending on what it is you want to pick up, or depending on how you feel that day, I guess. Now we're out doing this, like I said, on one of the last days that we're here, in pretty much our last day here, and that unfortunately is like, it's kind of a cloudy, a little bit rainy day, but I will tell you, like, the weather here has been very, very nice actually. It rains sometimes for sure, but most of the time it's like sunny in the morning and the early afternoon, and then in the early afternoon it'll rain a little bit, maybe for a couple of hours, and then the rain will sort of die off by the evening. So it's been really nice. It's been really nice. And also, we're not just wrapping up our stay here in Medellín, our stay here in Sabaneta. we're wrapping up our stay in Colombia as well. We're going to be leaving Colombia and heading off to a city in another country. And I don't know. As we get closer to the apartment on our little tour here, I will decide whether or not I really want to tell you what city that is, or if I just want to like leave you in suspense. I don't know. Try and think of some more things that I like about Sabaneta. Like I mentioned, Sabaneta has its own very distinct sort of feel, distinct character. And even though, I don't know, I think Sabaneta, what I liked is it has this good balance between like being lively and busy and a little frenetic, with, you know, like people on the streets, traffic, stuff like that. So it doesn't feel boring at all, that's for sure. But it's not like super busy, super frenetic and loud like some of the neighborhoods that are up in the city, you know? Like Parque Berrio and the center, the Candelaria. I liked visiting that neighborhood for sure. It was cool to see all of those plazas. It was cool to see, like, I don't know, just to walk around that neighborhood. But I don't think I would want to stay in that neighborhood. That neighborhood is very, like, lots of foot traffic, lots of people walking around, like, all the time in that neighborhood. Lots of car and automobile traffic as well in that neighborhood. Yeah, I don't know. I think I would not want to stay in that neighborhood, but staying in a neighborhood like this in Sabaneta, where you know, there's a good balance. It's a good balance of like busy but also peaceful, and at different times too. You know, right now we're walking around in the morning. It's a morning, everything's opening up. People are, you know, commuting. People are going to, you know, their daily routine, starting up their daily routine. So it's a little bit busy. If you walk around here a little later, sort of in the middle of the day, things actually settle down a bit. And then in the late afternoon and the evening, it gets like livelier again. And then at night, it's a lot more chill. That's another thing about Sabaneta that I liked. It felt like a very safe neighborhood to me. You know, a lot of the times in certain neighborhoods that we visited, didn't really like want to walk around too much after dark. And there are definitely some places that we visited where like I just didn't want to walk around after dark, and for you know, safety reasons, right? And that's something that people, you know, even locals will like advise you, hey, don't walk around after dark. But this is definitely not that. This I felt really good about because like it reminded me a lot of Argentina actually, because in Argentina everything's open late. You know, Argentines, they don't eat dinner until like 10 o'clock at night. So a lot of stuff open late. There's a lot of people on the streets still late, which means you feel like pretty safe walking around. And I definitely felt that in this neighborhood too. Like even in the late evening and at night, there were still still restaurants open, bars, things like that, and I felt like I could walk around like and not really be bothered, and I did actually several times. So that was something also very nice about this neighborhood. It is a pretty like it's a pretty nice like it's a pretty clean, pretty safe neighborhood, which is something also that I'm always looking for. And here along the main street, it is a little bit loud with the trucks coming through, but if you get a little further off these main streets into the back streets, it's definitely a lot more relaxed. So that's about it. That's about it for Sabaneta. We are here, right back where we started, right on the block where our apartment is, and I think that's going to be it for the video. We're going to call it right here. What do I think ultimately about staying here in Sabaneta? I think I would highly recommend it. And if you're going to be coming here to Medellin and you want an experience that's like a little more chill and I guess a little more like authentic, you can stay here in Sabaneta and you wouldn't feel like you're staying in like a very touristy area, because it's not a very touristy area. Get like a more, I don't know, authentic experience. It's nice in a situation where like you're staying for a little longer than maybe just like a week, like I am, of course. So, like I said, I think that's going to be it for the video. Now we got to decide, do I tell you what country we're going to next? I think I will. We're going to be leaving Colombia after this. We're going to be moving on to a new city in a new country, and that city is La Ciudad de Mexico. That's right, we're going to Mexico. We're going to be in Mexico, La Ciudad de Mexico, DF, and we're going to be there soon. So the next time you see us, we will be in Ciudad de Mexico. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you in the next one.